Dan here, Vagabond Buddha. Just finished my run. I'm in Sintra, Portugal. It's this beautiful medieval city, and actually there's even Roman ruins here, and has cobblestone streets, and I'm enjoying being out walking early in the morning after my run. It's crispy today. It's a beautiful November day, the day after Thanksgiving. And it's funny saying the word Thanksgiving really brings joy to me. So happy to be here with you and to invite you into the extreme joy of the present moment, which is available to everyone at all times, and is not for only a few. It's for everyone, and it's really only forgive my what would appear to be arrogance, but to think of it more like a wake-up call. It's only our arrogance that keeps us from living in the present moment. We're born into a deep sea of consciousness, into a world of that, and at that same moment we're actually, before we're born, probably, I would suspect, we have awareness of our being, our beingness, and then we're squished out into the world, and we begin the process of fear and selfishness and greed and all that creates, that socialization tries to create us more palatable people. And we filter information that's taught us, and we believe some, and we don't believe all of it. And we taste foods and decide what we like, and we create a memory of life, and in that memory is an index of all that is good and bad, right and wrong. And we define ourselves by choices and beliefs, and we live our life based on what we pay attention to. And if that what we pay attention to creates pain in us, we live a life of suffering. And many of us go from birth to death thinking that's all there is, and we never awaken in our body, we never awaken in our life, because we are living on the surface of the ocean, and we're bobbing up and down on the waves, paying attention to details that are making us frustrated or sad, and we don't realize that all of that's based on opinions and feelings of what we think is right and wrong and how things should be. And we don't understand that we can swim in the whole ocean below us, or the air above us, or whatever example you want to use for what being awake is, and how it's magnificent, rather than bobbing around on top of the waves. So, and this isn't a cure-all, don't get me wrong here. You will always have a mind, you'll always have an opinion, but it's different being inside your body if you know that your mind is having an opinion, but you're this larger thing listening to the mind. There's a bit of joy in that awareness that's not available if you believe you are whatever your mind's thinking 24 hours a day, or you believe the story your mind tells you about who you are. And so it all gets back to waking ourselves up. And so there's a million ways out there that, millions probably an exaggeration, but there's certainly 10 or 20 ways out there claiming to know how to wake you up, and all the power to them. I have no criticism for them. Anybody who understands the difference between living on the surface of the ocean and swimming in a big open joyful space below it, who wants to attempt to put that into words, I think is lovely. So all the power to him. I think at some point though it will happen for you if you keep pushing, and one day you'll end up in this space. And along the way you'll think there's something you need to learn. Like I'm not there yet. I don't understand what being awake in my life means. And your mind will want to ask questions about how do I get there? What's the secret? What's the way? What's the best way? And ultimately, the truth is that the idea, the arrogance of asking a question, how do I get there? What's in my way? What do I need to know? It's not asking a question, but there's an arrogance or an ego behind the question that's saying, I want to be here when awareness happens. I want to be here when awareness happens, so don't give me your hogwash about how I need to go away for awareness to be here. I want my view of the world to be justified and confirmed. I want my righteousness to be confirmed in my awakening. And the truth is, none of us have the sight of the awareness, the full awakening in your life. In our mind is a limited, filtered view of the world that is actually what's in the way of us being in the all. And so all of the techniques are trying to shut your mind up and allow you to be. And so forgive my arrogance and sounding arrogance, but let go. You can't, if you're asking the question, you're saying I'm the exception. I'm the one who gets to be present and confirm awakening. And that's not really what it is. That's a small part of yourself. It would be as if a grandparent was walking down the street with her grandchild, and the grandchild asks, "What's the most significant moment in your life?" And it's even a bigger stretch than this, but this is just an example. And the grandparent went about explaining what they thought was the most meaningful part of their life, and they used a vocabulary and explanation that bored the child to death almost. They couldn't even let a full sentence finish before the child wouldn't even ask the question, honestly, because they're often more connected to the physical world, which in some sense is quite spiritual already. and the grandparent is wandering off into this ethereal explanation of things. So the asking of the question is an arrogance that you would even understand the answer when the answer itself doesn't even occur in understanding. It occurs in experience. It doesn't occur in a paradigm that the mind can define, put boundaries around, put a red star and say, I'm awakened. The mind itself exists in a space. If the earth were the mind, the awakening, it's just a slight murmur in the universe. And they're saying, what's it like being the universe? And the universe just says, shut up and listen. Just shut up for a minute and listen. Just be in the universe. There's information coming at you from all directions at the same time. You can't even understand if you're in your mind. You just be and learn. Be and learn. Just shut up. And of course, once you're in that space, the mind, once that grace has happened to you, when you awaken to the magnificence in which you already exist right now, that your mind is so loud you can't be with or hear, then after that you'll develop this ability that even when the mind's speaking, or maybe right at first you'll develop it, I don't want to limit it, but you'll understand the magnificence of this I am that everyone's talking about. You won't understand it, you'll experience it, and it's different. Your mind wants to understand it, and that's what's stopping you. So don't ask the question anymore. You don't need a book. You don't need yoga or meditation. What you need to do is shut up, sit down, or stand up, or walk, or relax, and just be in the universe. Be all of the information, unlabeled information that's around you. Be the sights and the sounds, and be all of it without being more significant than any of it, or even noticing that you're different from any of it. You are the universe. You're traveling through the universe. And what your mind thinks plays no role in your awakening, other than to be too loud to really be who you are. And so, once you start to search, you'll never find it. Just let go, and there's no search that needs to be done. There's no work that needs to be done. More meditation won't help you. It's a grace. It's an insight you didn't work for, that you don't know how to accomplish. And any of the gurus are arrogant if they think they can get you there. If they're helping you at all, what it is by being there themselves and emitting that energy, if you will, and by you being with an entity that's not primarily emitting a personality, that's not primarily focused on getting more of something right now at this time, more enlightenment, more money, more sex, more whatever. Your human mind has a purpose, but it has no role in your awakening. And so sit down, shut up, observe. Be in the universe as a non-significant point. And let your memory go, let what you're thinking go, even if it's just for a few minutes. Let your opinion go. Just let go or let be. Let those be without you grabbing onto them and saying, what does it mean? What does that mean? How do I figure this out? This guy's not as good as the last one. This one here, I'm going to go listen to that guy. He's better. We're going to, It's no, that's your mind. Just let go. Just let go. Just be around, just be everything. The trees, the forests, the buildings, the city you're in. Let go and be. That is all it is. It's giving up on anything else that thinks there's another way. All right, just trying different stuff. And by the way, being present for me and talking about it is like it's sort of a looking. While I'm there, if I look and see, like, how does it feel different than when my mind has my attention? And talking about that, it helps define it for me. So it's not it's true there's an extreme joy here, and that I'm happy about it and want to teach it. But it's also true that this conversation helps me. And it's also true that I ultimately believe that the shift that's available for humanity exists in consciousness rather than a conversation about how to make the world better. I think the conversation about how to make the world better is important and needed, but I think there has to be a listening for the conversation that's missing right now, and that if more people became self-aware in the universe, you would have a stronger listening for the conversation about how the world could be better. So I think they're both important things, but I'm working on one part of it, which is the listening for myself, and I'm hoping others eventually, by listening to me and others, make a listening for making the world better. And the idea of making the world better, that's a whole mind area. But if you have a bunch of people that understand that it's a mind area, that aren't trying to make everyone else around them wrong for having different thoughts, but are actually talking about solutions, rather than focusing so much on who doesn't have the solutions, that once the listening's there with that, I think it might be more effective. And I understand that there can be lots of opinions about that, and I don't really know what the best answer is, and I don't really care, because I'm personally focused on the listening. I think when there's a greater spiritual listening, if you will, a non-religious spiritual listening, or a higher level of consciousness humming along in the human race, that a lot of our problems will naturally solve themselves. So anyway, that's kind of my political view of the importance of the two things. So anyway, time to go inside, do a little stretching and some little bit of muscle work, and then hop in the shower and go see this beautiful city. Thanks for listening. Oh, let me let this. Wow, that's so loud and for so long. I don't know if you could hear me, so I paused, sorry. So there's a tab on Vagabond Buddha called Presence, and whatever I put on YouTube will be there. And I've opened a new channel on YouTube called Present with Vagabond Buddha. And that's where I'm putting this present moment awareness stuff, because I think I don't want to conflict with people who are interested in geographical space more than awareness space. So, all right. Thanks for listening.